Hi, I'm Craig Allen. I'm with the Center for Resilience in Agricultural Working Landscapes at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I'd like to just speak for a few minutes about a project we have going on in the Sandhills of Nebraska, collaborative adaptive management at the Barta Brothers Ranch in the Sandhills of Nebraska. As most are probably aware, rangelands are threatened. Rangelands are iconic grasslands that really provide the identity to the Great Plains. And over the past 50 years, they've been decreasing in an alarming rate. Part of that is due to cedar invasion, which is shown on this slide here, where we see that the rate of cedar invasion in Nebraska has been something like a loss of 40,000 acres of rangeland every year, losing rangelands. There's many additional threats ranging from fragmentation to expansion of row crop agriculture and expansion of suburbia into rangeland. So it's a threatened ecosystem and one of the most threatened ecosystems of the world. So we're really interested in how do we improve management in the Sandhills of Nebraska. To do so, we undertook a collaborative adaptive management project at the Barta Brothers Ranch. Barta Brothers is a university-owned ranch gifted in 1996 to the university. And because it's university-owned, it allows us to do experiments that landowners couldn't possibly do on their property. Which isn't to say that the ranch isn't concerned with the bottom line. They are. But we undertook this experiment to try to improve rangeland management in conjunction with identifying the challenges to grassland management with a stakeholder group composed of local ranchers as well as some NGOs and some others. It's a participatory approach that emphasizes co-learning, and it's a structured approach. What adaptive management allows is for us to treat management as hypotheses and continue with management while maximizing learning. So what we ended up doing is our stakeholders are interested in increasing heterogeneity in rangelands, decreasing invasive species, and either improving or being neutral to cattle production. So what we ended up doing as experimental treatments was to institute a fire regime into the Barta Brothers Ranch. But what we did was introduce fire that worked with existing rotational grazing. So in a section that's in rotational grazing with 4 paddocks, we would burn a single paddock each year, but in a deviation from what's normally done with rotational grazing, we left the gates open so the cattle could choose the pasture in that rotational section that they wanted to utilize. We had burns in 2022 and 2023. Both years were drought years. We were happy to be able to have small windows to get fire in. We were able to put fire on the ground successfully. What we learned, amongst many other things, and it's an ongoing process, is that we are able to burn safely in the Sandhills. The cattle, I will emphasize cattle results here, cattle actually selected the burned paddock more than the unburned paddocks. In the graphic, you see the upper left, in the right side of the graphic is our 4-paddock system. The colors, the red means heavy cattle use. And what you see is spatially, cattle spent more time than expected in the burned paddock. They did that because burns removed dead litter, and burns improved forage quality. The ultimate result of that was increased weight gain in the animals in our burned paddocks compared to animals in the reference paddocks. At the same time, we're interested also in other benefits to ecosystem services, including improving, looking at vegetation change, looking at bird communities, and looking at erosion. Obviously, soil erosion, wind erosion is a real concern in the Great Plains, especially the sand hills. That was a big concern of our stakeholders. While sand moved, there was some accretion and some loss of sand. The graphs on the left show upper is 2022 and lower is 2023. Sand moved, but the movement was neutral. It accreted some places and decreased others. Similar for vegetation, we did have some vegetation changes, but I'll emphasize here the bird communities, which we had some movement in bird communities. We increased some grassland bird species as expected. So overall, we've had increase in cattle weights, increases in forage quality, changes in bird and vegetation communities, all while allowing normal management and normal cattle production to occur on these sites. So we're 2 years in, and we have 4 years for a complete cycle on this single section. So it's still a bit early, but we evaluate every year, and to date, we're quite happy with the results. And again, learning by doing is an approach that allows us to continue management while optimizing learning while we undergo those management practices. I'd like to thank all the folks involved with this project, which is a very large number of people, and thank you today.